The truth spread across the galaxy faster than anyone had thought possible. Within 6 hours of Elder Nokran's first broadcast, over 400 worlds had received the Valen memories. By the end of the first day, nearly every inhabited planet knew about the Council's great deception. High Chancellor Mu Hyun sat in his command center, watching reports flood in from across the galaxy. On SciFiPrime, millions of people were protesting in the streets. The Mindo colonies had declared independence from Council rule. 3 entire sectors had announced they would no longer follow Council orders. How did this happen? He shouted at his advisors. How did one human ship destroy 3,000 years of carefully maintained order? Sir, the situation is getting worse, his intelligence chief reported. Admiral Jae-sung's entire fleet has joined the rebellion. They're protecting the Valen planet and helping them broadcast to even more worlds. And our other fleets? 17 fleet commanders have requested clarification of their orders. 8 have refused to attack civilian targets. 3 have openly declared support for what they're calling the Liberation Movement. Mu Hyun realized that his empire was collapsing around him, but he still had loyal forces, and he wouldn't give up without a fight. Activate Protocol 7, he ordered. Complete communications blackout. If we can't control the message, we'll stop all messages. Sir, that will shut down trade, transportation, and emergency services across the entire galaxy. Billions could die. Better that than losing control completely. Meanwhile, on the Valen homeworld, Tae-min stood with Elder Nokran in the Crystal City's main communication center. Screens showed the reactions from hundreds of worlds as people learned the truth about their history. Look at that, Hana said, pointing to one screen. The people on Corvin 7 just overthrew their council-appointed governor. They're demanding the right to govern themselves. And here, So Young added, the Gorvak are sharing their own hidden technologies with their neighboring systems. Technologies the council told them to keep secret. Wu Jin was monitoring the council fleet above them. Most of Jae-sung's ships have moved away from attack positions. It looks like they're forming a defensive perimeter around the planet. But not all the news was good. On the main screen, they watched as loyal council forces attacked rebel ships near the Centauri system. The War of Two Truths had begun. We need to do more than just reveal the truth, Tae-min said to Nokran. People are fighting and dying out there. Can your technology help them? Our abundance technology could end the shortages that make people dependent on the council, Nokran replied. But we would need to get the devices to other worlds, and the loyal council forces will try to stop us. Not all of them, Admiral Jae-sung said, entering the communication center. I've been talking to fleet commanders across the galaxy. About half of the council military has already switched sides. We can provide protection for Valen ships carrying the abundance technology. But first we need to stop the communication blackout, Hana pointed out. If people can't talk to each other, they can't coordinate their resistance. Elder Nokran smiled. The council's blackout won't work against our technology. We use quantum communication methods that can't be blocked by conventional systems. We can keep the truth spreading no matter what they do. Over the next few weeks, the galaxy transformed more rapidly than anyone had thought possible. Valen ships protected by rebel council fleets carried abundance technology to dozens of worlds. Food became available to billions of hungry people. Energy became so cheap that even the poorest planets could power their cities. On Earth, Taemin's superiors were initially angry that he had violated council orders. But when they learned what he had discovered, they declared humanity's full support for the liberation movement. Human ships joined the growing rebel alliance. The Council's loyal forces fought desperately to maintain control, but they were fighting against an idea whose time had come. When people could feed their families and power their homes without depending on Council distribution networks, the Council's main source of control disappeared. The war lasted only 6 months. It ended when High Chancellor Mu Hyun's own bodyguards arrested him after learning the truth about the Valen genocide. The remaining council leadership surrendered rather than face trials for crimes against galactic civilization. A new government formed, calling itself the Galactic Assembly. Unlike the council, it had no permanent leaders and no military forces. Instead, representatives from every world met regularly to discuss problems and share solutions. The Valen abundance technology made war over resources unnecessary. Tae-min found himself famous across the galaxy as the human who changed everything. But he didn't want fame. He just wanted to keep exploring and learning about the universe. You could have any position in the new government, So Young told him as they prepared for their next mission. Admiral of the fleet, ambassador to the Valen, even president of the assembly. I'm happy being a ship commander, Taemin replied. There are still thousands of worlds out there we haven't seen yet. Who knows what other secrets are waiting to be discovered. Anna was studying reports from the Valen reconstruction projects. They've already restored 7 of the 17 worlds that were destroyed 3,000 years ago. The planetary rebuilding technology is incredible, and they're teaching it to anyone who wants to learn, Wu Jin added. No more secrets, no more hidden knowledge. Everything is shared freely. Admiral Jae-sung visited them before they left for their new exploration mission. The former council officer had become one of the leaders of the new Galactic Defense Force, which existed only to protect worlds from natural disasters and space pirates. I wanted to thank you again, he told Taemin. Before you showed me the truth, I was just a soldier following orders. Now I understand that real strength comes from helping people, not controlling them. You made the hard choice when it mattered, Taemin replied. That's what changed everything. As the indomitable spirit prepared to leave the Valen homeworld, Elder Nokran came to say goodbye. Where will you go now? He asked. Wherever curiosity takes us, Taemin answered. There's a whole galaxy out there full of wonders we haven't seen yet. And if you find something the new assembly doesn't want you to investigate? Taemin smiled. Then we'll investigate it anyway. That's what humans do. The ship launched into space, passing dozens of other vessels carrying Valen technology to distant worlds. The galaxy was healing, growing, becoming something better than it had ever been before. 6 months later, Taemin received a message from Earth. The human government wanted to honor him with their highest medal for changing galactic history. He politely declined. I didn't change history, he told the messenger. I just asked a question that needed asking. Anyone could have done the same thing, but Hana disagreed. Not anyone would have been brave enough to land on a forbidden planet just because the readings looked interesting. Or smart enough to realize that official answers aren't always true answers, So Young added. Or stubborn enough to go back even when council warships were trying to kill us, Wu Jin finished. They were exploring a new star system now, one that had never appeared on any council charts. The planets here had been hidden by natural phenomena, not government secrecy. But they were just as mysterious and just as exciting to discover. Commander, Hana called from her sensor station. I'm getting some very interesting readings from the 3rd planet. Signs of intelligent life, but using technology I've never seen before. Are there any laws against investigating it? Taemin asked with a grin. None that I know of. Then let's go meet our new neighbors. The indomitable spirit changed course toward another world full of possibilities. Behind them, the galaxy continued its transformation from an empire built on lies to a community built on truth and shared abundance. In schools across hundreds of worlds, children learned the story of the human who set foot on a forbidden world and changed history forever. But they also learned the deeper lesson, that truth requires no permission, only courage to seek it. And somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, other explorers were asking their own dangerous questions, ready to challenge whatever lies they might find. The age of secrets was over. The age of discovery had begun. Elder Nokran often stood in his crystal gardens, looking up at the stars and remembering the day a small human ship had ignored the warnings and landed on his world. That single act of curiosity had freed billions of people and restored hope to civilizations that had forgotten it was possible. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries. But now, finally, everyone was free to explore them together. Admiral Jae-sung stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching his weapons pound the Valen shield. For 6 hours, 30 council warships had been firing their strongest weapons at the planet, but the barrier wouldn't break. Admiral, we're not making progress, his weapons officer reported. The shield is actually getting stronger. Impossible, Jae-sung snapped. Keep firing. But deep inside, he was beginning to have doubts. In his 40 years of military service, he had never seen defensive technology this advanced. According to council records, the Valen were primitive warriors who had been eliminated centuries ago. So who was operating this shield? His communication officer interrupted his thoughts. Sir, we're receiving a message from High Chancellor Mu Hyun. The holographic image of the council's leader appeared in front of Jae-sung. Mu Hyun looked angry and worried at the same time. Admiral, what is your status? Why haven't you destroyed the human ship yet? The planet has some kind of protective barrier, Jae-sung explained. We're working to break through it. You don't understand, Moo-hyun said urgently. Those humans cannot be allowed to leave that world alive. They have seen things that could destroy the Council's authority. What kind of things? Moo-hyun was quiet for too long. Just destroy them, Admiral. Use whatever force is necessary. The communication ended, but Jae-sung stared at the empty air where the hologram had been. In all his years of service, the High Chancellor had never refused to explain the reasons for an order. What was on this planet that was so dangerous? Sir? His intelligence officer called out. I've been researching this system in our archives. Most of the records are classified above my security level, but I found some interesting patterns. What kind of patterns? Every ship that has ever approached this planet has been turned away or destroyed. Not just in recent years, but for the last 3,000 years. Always by direct order from the highest levels of the Council. 3,000 years? That was when the Council was first formed. Jae-sung had studied that period in military school. It was called the Great Peace when the Council ended the chaotic wars that had torn the galaxy apart. What else do the records say about that time? He asked. Very little, sir. Most historical documents from before the Council are classified. But there are references to something called the Valen threat. Apparently there was a species that tried to destroy galactic civilization. And they lived on this planet? According to the files I can access, yes. The Council had to eliminate them to save everyone else. But if the Valen were eliminated 3,000 years ago, who was maintaining this incredible shield? And why did the human ship's sensors show millions of lifeforms on the planet? Down on the surface, Taemin was preparing for the most dangerous mission of his life. The Valen had given him a small crystal device that contained the true history of the galaxy. If he could get close enough to Admiral Jae-sung to activate it, the Admiral would see the same memories that had shocked the human crew. This is insane, Woo Jin said for the 10th time. You're going to fly directly into a fleet of 30 warships. It's our only chance, Taemin replied. If we can convince the Admiral to help us, we might be able to get the truth out to the whole galaxy. Hana was calibrating the memory crystal. This device will work for about 5 minutes once activated. It will share the most important memories directly with anyone nearby. What if he doesn't believe it? So Young asked. What if he thinks it's some kind of Valen trick? Then we'll probably die, Taemin said simply. But if we don't try, millions of people across the galaxy will keep living under Council lies. Elder Nokron approached with several other Valen leaders. Commander, we have prepared something that might help. Our shield technology can be adapted to protect small objects. Your shuttle will be invisible to their sensors for about 10 minutes. That's not long enough to reach the flagship and get back, So Young calculated. It doesn't have to be, Taemin said. I'm not planning to come back unless this works. His crew looked at him with a mixture of admiration and fear. They had followed him across the galaxy, but this felt like suicide. Sir, let me come with you, Hana offered. No, if this fails, someone needs to survive to tell Earth what we learned here. Stay with the ship and take care of the recordings we made. Taemin climbed into the shuttle alone. The Valen activated their modified shield around the small craft, and it disappeared from all sensors. He flew slowly toward the Council fleet, his heart beating faster with every kilometer. On the flagship, Admiral Jae-sung was still thinking about the strange orders from High Chancellor Moo-hyun. Something wasn't right about this whole situation. Admiral, his security chief called out. We have a problem. One of our patrol shuttles has gone missing. Missing? How does a shuttle go missing in the middle of a battle? Unknown, sir. It just vanished from our screens about 5 minutes ago. Jae-sung was about to order a search when his communication system made an unusual sound. A new signal was coming from somewhere very close to his ship. Admiral Jae-sung, this is Commander Taemin Park of the human ship. I need to speak with you privately. Impossible, the security chief said. Our sensors show no ships within 50 kilometers. But Jae-sung was curious. How are you communicating with us, human? I'm in a shuttle right next to your ship. I have information that you need to see. Information about why the Council really wants this planet destroyed. You're lying. Our sensors would detect any ship that close. Your sensors can't detect everything, Admiral. The same technology protecting this planet is hiding my shuttle. I'm going to dock with your ship. If you want to shoot me when I come aboard, that's your choice. Jae-sung could have ordered his weapons to fire in all directions, destroying anything that might be hiding nearby, but his curiosity was stronger than his caution. Very well, human. Dock with Bay 7, but you will be surrounded by armed guards. I understand. 10 minutes later, Taman walked into the flagship's main conference room, carrying the Valen memory crystal. 20 council soldiers pointed their weapons at him, but he showed no fear. Admiral, what I am about to show you will change everything you believe about the council and this war, Taman said. You have 5 minutes before I have you executed for breaking galactic law. Jae-sung replied, I only need 3. Taman activated the crystal device. Immediately, everyone in the room was struck by the flood of Valen memories. They saw the abundance technology that could have ended poverty across the galaxy. They witnessed the secret meetings where council founders planned to destroy the Valen. They experienced the horror of the night of falling stars. Admiral Jae-sung fell to his knees as the visions filled his mind. He saw his own ancestors participating in the genocide, convinced they were saving civilization when they were really protecting their own power. When the memories ended, the room was completely silent. Several of the council soldiers were crying. Others looked sick. Is it true? Jae-sung whispered. Is this really what happened? Every memory is real, Taman replied. The council built their empire on the biggest lie in galactic history. They've kept billions of people poor and fighting while hoarding technology that could help everyone. Jae-sung stood up slowly. His entire worldview had just been shattered. Everything he had fought for, everyone he had killed in the council's name had been based on lies. What do you want from me? He asked. Help us tell the truth. The Valen can share these memories with every world in the galaxy, but they need access to the council's communication network. You can give them that access. If I do this, I'll be branded a traitor. My family will be hunted. My entire fleet will be marked for destruction. If you don't do this, the lies will continue forever. How many more species will suffer while the council keeps them weak and divided? Jae-sung looked around at his soldiers. Many of them were nodding, their faces full of anger at the deception they had just witnessed. Admiral, his communication officer said, I'm receiving urgent messages from other ships in our fleet. Several captains are requesting permission to lower their weapons. Word is spreading about what we just saw. Jae-sung realized that some of his officers had been close enough to the conference room to receive the memory transmission. The truth was already spreading through his own fleet. Sir, his weapons officer added, High Chancellor Mu Hyun is trying to reach us. He sounds very angry. Jae-sung looked at Taemin, then at his own soldiers, then at the planet below where millions of Valen waited for justice. Ignore the Chancellor's call, he ordered, and open our communication networks to the planet. Full broadcast access. Sir, that's against every protocol we have. Do it anyway. On the planet's surface, Elder Nokran received the signal that the Council's networks were now open. For the first time in 3,000 years, the Valen could speak directly to the galaxy. Within minutes, every inhabited world would know the truth. The age of lies was about to end, but the real fight was just beginning. Taemin couldn't sleep for 3 days after meeting the Valen. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the images that Elder Nokran had shared with him. Cities burning, people screaming, warships destroying entire worlds. But were the memories real, or was it some kind of trick? We need to go back, Hana said during their morning meeting. As a scientist, I have to know if what they showed us is true. It's too dangerous, Wu Jin argued. Admiral Jae-sung will be watching that system more carefully now. He knows we were there. So Young was studying star charts again. I found something interesting. I've been looking up the history of the Valen in Council databases. According to official records, they were a warrior race that tried to conquer the galaxy 3,000 years ago. The Council had to destroy them to save everyone else. But that doesn't match what we saw, Taemin said. In Nokran's memory, the Valen cities looked peaceful. There were no weapons, no armies. That's exactly why we need to know more, Hana insisted. Either the Council records are wrong or the Valen are lying to us. Both possibilities are important. Taemin had already made his decision, but he wanted his crew to choose for themselves. I'm going back. Anyone who wants to stay behind can take a shuttle to the nearest human colony. Nobody moved. They had been together for 5 years and they trusted each other completely. If we're doing this, we need a better plan. So Young said, the Council ships will be ready for us this time. I have an idea, Wu Jin said slowly. What if we don't try to sneak past them? What if we go through them? Through 3 warships? Hana looked shocked. That's suicide. Not if we're faster than they expect. I've been working on the engines. I can give us about 10 minutes of triple normal speed. We could be on the planet before they know what happened. And getting off the planet? Taemin asked. That's the risky part. We'd have to hope the Valen can protect us somehow. It was a desperate plan, but it was better than trying to sneak around ships that were actively hunting them. They spent 2 days preparing. Woojin modified the engines. So Young calculated the exact flight path. Hana prepared more advanced instruments to record everything they learned. On the 3rd day, they returned to the Forbidden System. The Council ships detected them immediately. Admiral Jae Sung's angry face appeared on their screen. Human ship, you are under arrest for violating galactic law. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Sorry, Admiral, Taemin replied. We have some questions that need answers. He nodded to Wu Jin, who activated the modified engines. The indomitable spirit shot forward so fast that the Council ships couldn't react in time. In 3 minutes, they were through the planet's protective shield and landing in the same crystal city. Elder Nokran was waiting for them, along with dozens of other Valen. They seemed excited but also worried. You came back, Nokran said. But the Council ships are very angry. They are trying to break through our shield. Can they do it? Taemin asked. Not yet, but Admiral Jae Sung is calling for more ships. If they bring enough weapons, they might succeed. Then we need to learn the truth quickly, Hana said. Nokran led them to a building that looked like it was made of living light. Inside, there were strange machines that hummed with power. These are memory crystals, Nokran explained. They contain the experiences of our people from the last 3,000 years. But be warned. Once you see these memories, you will understand why the Council wants us dead. We're ready, Taemin said. One by one, the crew touched the crystal devices. Immediately, their minds were filled with visions of the past. They saw the galaxy as it was 3,000 years ago. There was no Galactic Council then. Instead, there were many small groups of planets that often fought each other over resources. Planets ran out of food and energy. People died in wars over water and metal. Then they saw the Valen at their peak. They had developed incredible technology that could create anything they needed from basic matter. Food, tools, buildings, even entire spaceships could be made instantly. They shared this technology freely with any species that asked for it. We called it abundance technology, Nokran's voice explained as the visions continued. No one would ever be hungry or poor again. Wars would end because there would be nothing left to fight over. But the visions showed that not everyone was happy about this. The military leaders and rich merchants who controlled the warring planets realized that abundance technology would make them powerless. If anyone could make anything they needed, why would they need armies or money? So Young watched in horror as the memories showed these leaders meeting in secret. They formed an alliance and called it the Galactic Council. They claimed they wanted peace, but their real goal was to stop the Valen from sharing their technology. They told everyone that we were dangerous. Nokran continued. They said our technology would destroy civilization. But really, they just wanted to keep their power. The most terrible memory came next. The crew saw the night of falling stars, when thousands of Council warships attacked Valen worlds without warning. 17 planets were destroyed completely. Billions of peaceful people died in a single night. Hana started crying as she watched entire families being killed by Council weapons. How could they do this? The Valen were only trying to help, because helping people was exactly what threatened the Council's control. Nokran replied sadly. The memories showed the few surviving Valen escaping to their hidden world. They activated a powerful shield that made their planet invisible to most sensors. For 3,000 years they had lived in secret, believing they were the last of their people. But we never stopped working, Nokran said. We rebuilt our technology. We made it even better. And we waited for someone to find us. Why didn't you try to contact other species? Taemin asked. We tried many times, but the Council controlled all communication networks. Any message we sent was blocked. Any ship that tried to visit us was turned away or destroyed. You are the first people to actually reach our world in 3,000 years. Wu Jin was studying the Valen technology with amazement. This is incredible. You could end poverty and hunger across the entire galaxy. Why hasn't the Council shared any of this? Because they never intended to, another Valen replied. They stole some of our basic technology after destroying our worlds. But they only use it for themselves. They keep other species poor and fighting each other so they stay in control. The crew realized they were looking at the biggest lie in galactic history. The Galactic Council wasn't a force for peace and order. It was a dictatorship built on genocide and maintained through artificial scarcity. What happened to Admiral Jae-sung? So Young asked suddenly. He seemed different when we talked to him last time. Angrier, but also confused. Nokran looked worried. We think he is beginning to suspect the truth. We have been broadcasting subtle signals for decades, hoping to plant questions in the minds of council leaders. Some of them are starting to wonder why this planet must remain secret. Is that why you waited for us? Taemin asked. You knew someone would eventually investigate? We hoped. Humans are known for being curious. Your species asks questions that other species are afraid to ask. Outside, they could hear the sound of more ships arriving. Through the crystal windows, they saw dozens of council warships surrounding the planet. The shield was holding, but energy weapons were constantly hitting it. They're really trying to break through, Hana observed. Yes. Admiral Jae-sung must have realized what you discovered here. The council will do anything to keep their secret. Taemin looked at his crew. They all understood what this meant. They had stumbled onto the truth that could change the galaxy forever. But if they died here, no one would ever know. Can you share this information with other species? He asked Nokran. The way you shared it with us? If we had a way to reach them, yes. But the council blocks all our communications. What about their own networks? Could you use council communication systems? Nokran's eyes grew bright with hope. If we could access their networks, we could share these memories with every inhabited world in the galaxy simultaneously. Everyone would know the truth at the same time. How do we do that? We would need someone inside the council fleet, someone who could disable their communication blocks for just a few minutes. They all looked toward the sky, where Admiral Jae-sung's flagship was leading the attack on the shield. Taemin had an idea, but it was the most dangerous thing he had ever considered. What if we convince the Admiral to help us? He said. That's impossible, Wu Jin replied. He's trying to kill us. But what if he doesn't know the real reason why? Taemin looked at the Valen memory crystals. What if we could show him the same truth we just learned? Nokran understood immediately. You want to share our memories with a council admiral. It could work, but getting close enough to him would be suicide. Or it could save everyone, Taemin said quietly. Above them, the council weapons grew stronger, and the shield began to flicker. 3 days passed before Taemin made his final decision. The indomitable spirit was hiding in an asteroid field, far from council patrol routes. The crew had spent hours studying the readings from the forbidden planet, and the mystery only got deeper. I've analyzed the energy patterns, Hana said during their morning meeting. Whatever technology they're using down there, it's completely different from anything in council databases. The power output suggests a civilization that's not just alive, but thriving. Wu Jin shook his head. Commander, I have to say this again. If we go back, we might not survive. Admiral Jae-sung doesn't seem like the type to give second warnings. He's right, So Young added. Those council ships were armed for serious fighting. They could destroy us before we even reached the planet. Taemin understood their fears. He was scared too. But something inside him wouldn't let this go. What if there are people down there who need help? What if the council is keeping them prisoner? Or what if they're dangerous? Wu Jin replied. Maybe the council has good reasons for keeping everyone away. Hana looked up from her instruments. I've been thinking about that. If the people on this planet were dangerous, wouldn't the council have destroyed them already? They have the biggest military in the galaxy. Why keep them alive if they're a threat? Unless they can't destroy them, So Young said quietly. What if these people are too strong for the council to defeat? The idea made everyone quiet. The Galactic Council had never failed to defeat an enemy before. Their fleets could destroy entire star systems if they wanted to. There's only one way to find out the truth, Taemin said finally. We go back. But we do it smart. How do we get past 3 council warships? Wu Jin asked. So Young smiled for the first time in days. I have an idea about that. The patrol ships follow a pattern. Every 12 hours they move to different positions around the system. There's a gap of about 30 minutes when the far side of the planet isn't being watched. 30 minutes isn't very long, Hana pointed out. It's enough if we're fast, Taemin said. We go in, take a quick look, and get out. If there's really nothing there, we report back to Earth. If there is something, we figure out what to do next. The plan was risky, but it was their best chance. They spent the rest of the day preparing. Wu Jin made sure their engines were running perfectly. So Young plotted the fastest course to the planet. Hana prepared her instruments to gather as much information as possible in a short time. The next day they made their move. The indomitable spirit flew toward the forbidden system, staying hidden behind asteroids and gas clouds. When they got close, So Young watched the council ships through long-range sensors. "There's the gap," she said. "All 3 ships are on the other side of the star. We have maybe 25 minutes. Go," Taemin ordered. The ship shot forward at maximum speed. In 10 minutes, they reached the planet's outer atmosphere. Hana's instruments immediately started showing incredible readings. "Commander, there are cities down there, huge cities with millions of people, and there's some kind of shield around the whole planet. That's why the council ships can't get close." "What kind of people?" Taemin asked. "I'm not sure. The life signs are different from anything I've seen before. But they're definitely intelligent. Very intelligent." As they got closer, the ship suddenly stopped moving. Some invisible force had grabbed them and was pulling them toward the surface. "What's happening?" Wu Jin shouted, trying to control the engines. "It's not our engines," Hana said, studying her readings. "Something on the planet has caught us in some kind of beam. It's bringing us down, but gently, like they want us to land safely." The ship descended through the atmosphere. Below them, they could see amazing cities that seemed to be made of crystal and light. Gardens covered every surface, and strange flying machines moved between tall, beautiful buildings. "These people aren't prisoners," So Young whispered. "This is paradise." They landed in a large, empty area near one of the cities. As soon as the ship touched the ground, dozens of beings came toward them. They looked somewhat like humans, but taller and thinner. Their skin had a slight blue tint and their eyes were larger than human eyes. "Should we go outside?" Hana asked. "They don't seem hostile," Taemin said. "But keep our weapons ready just in case." The crew put on their protective suits and opened the ship's door. The air outside was clean and fresh. The beings stopped a short distance away and seemed to be waiting for something. One of them stepped forward. It was clearly a leader of some kind. When it spoke, the words came through a small device that translated its language into human speech. "We are the Valen," the being said. "I am Elder Nokran Omet. We have been waiting for someone like you for a very long time." "Someone like us?" Taemin replied. "What do you mean?" "Someone brave enough to ignore the council's lies and see the truth," Nokran said sadly. "We thought everyone in the galaxy had forgotten about us." Hana stepped forward. As a scientist, she was excited to meet a new alien species. "We detected your energy signals from space. Our instruments showed advanced technology, but the council told us this world was dead. The council has told many lies about us," Nokran said. "They want the galaxy to believe we never existed. But we are very much alive and we remember everything they did to our people." Before anyone could ask what he meant, So Young's communicator made a warning sound. "Commander, the council ships are moving. They'll be back in this area in 10 minutes. We have to go," Taemin told Nokran. "The council will be very angry if they find us here." "Wait," Nokran said urgently. "There are things you must know. Things that could change the entire galaxy. The council has been lying to everyone for thousands of years." "What kind of lies?" "We don't have time now. But if you truly want to know the truth, come back. We will show you memories that will explain everything." "Memories?" "We can share thoughts and experiences directly between minds. You will see the real history of the galaxy, not the lies the council teaches." Taemin looked at his crew. They were all scared but curious. This could be the most important discovery in human history, or it could get them all killed. "How do we know you're telling the truth?" Wu Jin asked. Nokran touched a crystal device on his chest. Suddenly, Taemin's mind was filled with images. He saw the same planet, but thousands of years ago. He saw Valen cities on dozens of worlds, all peaceful and beautiful. Then he saw council warships attacking those worlds, destroying everything. The vision lasted only seconds, but it felt like hours. When it ended, Taemin was breathing hard. "That was just a small sample," Nokran said. "If you return, we will show you everything. But be warned, once you know the truth, your life will never be the same." "Commander, we really have to go," So Young urged. Taemin looked at Nokran one more time. "We'll be back," he promised. The crew ran back to their ship as the council patrol ships appeared in the sky above them. The indomitable spirit lifted off just as the first warship came around the planet. Admiral Jae-sung's face appeared on their communication screen, angrier than before. "Human ship, you were ordered to stay away from this system. You have violated council law." "We experienced engine problems," Taemin lied. We had to land for emergency repairs. Jae-sung didn't believe him, but he couldn't prove anything. Return to your territory immediately. If you are found in this area again, you will be destroyed. As they flew away, the crew sat in shocked silence. They had found something incredible, but they had also discovered that the Galactic Council, the organization that ruled the galaxy, might be built on terrible lies. "Commander," Hana said quietly, "what are we going to do?" Taemin looked back toward the forbidden planet, now hidden behind them. "We're going to find out the truth, whatever it costs us." The stars looked different from the bridge of the indomitable spirit. Commander Taemin Park had been exploring space for 15 years, but he never got tired of seeing new worlds. His ship moved slowly through the dark between stars, looking for planets that humans could live on. "Commander, we're getting close to the edge of Council space," said So-Young Kim from her position at the navigation controls. She was young but smart, and Taemin trusted her completely. "Should we turn back now?" Taemin looked at the star map on the main screen. The Galactic Council controlled most of the galaxy. They made the rules that all species had to follow. Humans were new members, and they had to be careful not to make the Council angry. "Not yet," Taemin said. "We still have permission to explore this area. Let's check a few more systems." Woo Jin Lee looked up from his engineering station. He was older than the others and always worried about their ship breaking down. "The engines are running fine, but we should be careful. Council ships patrol these borders." Hana Choi was studying readings from nearby planets. She was a scientist who loved learning about alien life. "There are 3 more star systems we can check before we have to go home," she said. "One of them looks interesting." Taemin nodded. Earth had given them 6 months to find new worlds for humans to settle on. They had found 2 good planets already, but the human population was growing fast. They needed more space. The ship moved toward the interesting star system. It had 7 planets, but only one was the right distance from the sun for life. When they got closer, Hana's instruments started showing strange readings. "Commander, this is weird," Hana said, looking confused. "I'm getting energy signals from the 4th planet, but according to Council records, it's supposed to be dead. No life at all." So-Young checked her star charts. "That's strange. This planet isn't even on most of our maps. The few records I can find just call it restricted zone or something like that." Taemin walked over to look at Hana's screen. The readings showed clear signs of technology. Not just simple life, but advanced civilization. "Are you sure these readings are correct?" "I've checked 3 times, Hana replied. "There's definitely something down there. Big cities, power sources, maybe even spaceships. But the Council says this world is empty." Woo Jin frowned. "Why would the Council lie about a planet? That doesn't make sense, and maybe they don't know," So-Young suggested. Their records could be old or wrong, but Taemin had a bad feeling. In his years dealing with the Council, he had learned that they never made mistakes about important things. If they said a world was dead, they had good reasons, and if they were wrong, they would want to know immediately. "Commander," So-Young said suddenly, "I'm picking up Council ships, 3 of them moving fast toward our position." On the main screen, 3 large warships appeared. They were the kind the Council used to enforce their laws. Each ship was twice the size of the indomitable spirit and had enough weapons to destroy a small moon. "Open communication," Taemin ordered. The face of a stern-looking alien appeared on the screen. Taemin recognized him from Council meetings. Admiral Jae-sung Vex was known for being harsh with species that broke Council rules. "Human ship, you are ordered to leave this system immediately," Jae-sung said. His voice was cold and threatening. "You are approaching a restricted area." "Admiral, we have permission to explore this region," Taemin replied calmly. "Our documents are in order. Your permission does not extend to this system. Leave now, or we will escort you out." Taemin looked at his crew. They all understood what escort meant when Council ships said it. Ships that were escorted sometimes never made it home. "We understand, Admiral. We're leaving now." The communication ended. Jae-sung's ship stayed close to them as they moved away from the planet. But Taemin couldn't stop thinking about what they had seen. "Hana, did you record those readings?" he asked quietly. "Yes, sir. Everything is saved in our computers." "Good. Don't delete anything." 2 hours later, the Council ships finally left them alone. The crew gathered in the main meeting room to talk about what had happened. "Something's not right," Woo Jin said. "I've never seen Council ships move that fast to stop anyone from exploring. And why won't they let us even look at that planet?" Hana added, "If it's really dead, what's the harm? So Young was studying the star charts again. I found something interesting. This isn't the first time ships have been turned away from this system. There are reports going back 300 years. Every time someone gets close, council ships show up. 300 years? Taman was surprised. That's longer than humans have been in space. Much longer. And it's not just humans. I found records of Zatari ships, Mindo exploration teams, even some Gorvak traders. All of them were told to stay away. Hana looked at her readings again. Commander, those energy signals I detected were strong. Really strong. Whatever's on that planet has technology that might be more advanced than anything the Council has shown us. Taman was quiet for a long time. He knew that going back to investigate would be dangerous. The Council didn't make empty threats. But as a human, he had always been curious about things that didn't make sense. What if the Council is hiding something? He finally said. What if there's something on that planet they don't want anyone to know about? That's a dangerous thing to think, Wu Jin warned. The Council has kept peace in the galaxy for thousands of years. They must have good reasons for their rules. Maybe, Taman said. But what if they don't? The crew looked at each other. They all knew their commander well enough to recognize that look in his eyes. Taman had made a decision and it would change everything. Sir, So Young said carefully, are you thinking about going back? Taman looked out at the stars. Somewhere behind them was a planet that the most powerful organization in the galaxy wanted to keep secret. A world with advanced technology that could help humanity and other species. A mystery that had been hidden for centuries. I'm thinking about a lot of things, he said. But first, let's get some distance from here. We need time to plan. The indomitable spirit moved away from the forbidden system, but Taman knew they would return. Some secrets were too important to stay buried forever.